Hey everybody, I'm back. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the conversation again. Okay, and let's see. Oh, by the way, man, I'm telling you, I am really loving the responses I'm getting off of this. Hey, now this gets me stoked. It really does. I'm glad I'm getting through to somebody out there. Keep hanging in there, guys, and keep working with me on this, because I'm trying to teach you all I can right now. So where we left off at was this. When I was explaining to you about part of our human nature, that we possess three special elements or components. Remember, I explained that to you. Does any of you remember out there what it was? Huh? Okay. I'll refresh your memories just in case you forgot. Okay? Remember the three main components that's part of us, right? Mentality, physicality, individuality. Okay, you remember the three major elements, right? Okay, now I'm going to take it to this one particular scenario. I want you to focus on what I'm ready to explain to you now. Okay? Okay, here we go. Let's say one of these hybrids out here was captured. Now, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to take it to a detainment facility. Then what they're going to do is they're going to cage it. And they'll cage it for its protection and the ones studying its protection. Okay? Now, what happens is this. Now they want to study this hybrid. They want to know what makes it tick. So what they're going to end up doing is the first thing they're going to find out is this. It's going to be hard to get this hybrid to consume any kind of food, because whatever foods they try to get it to consume, which they will try many types of foods to get it to consume food, they'll try to get an understanding of what its diet actually is. But because they're ignorant on that fact, they don't know what its diet is. So therefore, they don't know what foods to give it to feed. Now, whatever they give it to it anyway, most likely it's not going to consume the food. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that they will not consume the food for? One big reason. Because they did not hunt or forage for it themselves. Okay? And you took them from their environment and you put them in a detainment facility. So you took that away one of their big elements of survival. Okay? Now, which would be what? Their physicality. You see, the hybrid, you can't contain it or detain it because it needs to be out here in the wide open, where it has plenty of fresh air to breathe, where it could hunt and forage on its own. Okay? So, now what happens? We got this guy contained and detained now, and they're still studying on it. Days go by, and days go by. So what happens, in a biological speaking, the body's going to start shutting down. And why is this? Because he has not consumed any foods which would be used for energy for the body. And then the body starts doing a funny thing. You see, biologically speaking, what happens is when you cut the body off from any kind of protein source, and what does the body do? It turns on itself. It eats on its own muscle tissue for protein, because our muscles are made of pure protein. So that's not a good thing for the hybrid. Okay? Now, days go by and more days go by. His body is starting to shut down in a bad way. At this point in time, they can't get him to eat, and believe it or not, they won't even consume any kind of liquid as water at this point too. So now you've taken away two different types of elements away from the hybrid. Now, what's going to happen? You done took him out of his world. You put him in your world. He can't survive in your world. Not detained and contained. Why is that? Because it wasn't to be that way by nature. That's not what he was built to do. So what happens? We get down to the last final stage with the hybrid. What do you think happens? Well, this is what happens. Now, we're getting into the mentality of it. That's right, the mentality of it. Now, you've affected him here. You see? Right here. The body's already shutting down, lack of consumption of food. He's dehydrated at this point, lack of water. Now a psychological effect occurs, okay? During this psychological effect, now he's going to end up with what we call today as anxieties, depressional anxieties. So he starts slipping into a state of depression. Now, why is he going into a depression? Because you took him out of his world where he's free, where he could do what he wants to do, where he could survive, where he can feed himself. You follow me? But you took that all away from him because you took him out of that element, and now you got him detained in your element. It's not going to work. So now our hybrid has slipped in a deep state of depression. The anxieties are now slipping and they're compounding to a deeper state of depression. At this point, he's going to die. He's just going to give up living. And he will be dead probably, I would say, in a week's time, if not sooner. So, ask yourself, what did we get out of it by taking him out of his world and putting it in our world because we think we're going to study him and find something out about him? We accomplished nothing. What we did accomplish was you took such a special living thing. You fall asleep on me again there, cameraman? Yes, he is. He's tired. It's been a hell of a walk up here. So anyway, smiling. So anyway, he slips away, he dies. Okay, so you didn't accomplish anything. You didn't learn anything. So, why did you even do it in the first place? It's pathetically stupid. All right? Now, you got that down already, right? Now, let's focus on, now I take you to modern man. Same scenario with modern man. Okay? So, you're taking modern man out of his environment, you're putting him in his home, okay, and you're detaining him, okay? And what happens at this point?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good and you?
There's a couple smart ones, see? They're getting out in the open, man. Getting out. Want to know something, though? This here? That's bad. Bad to do that. I won't wear that. I'd rather breathe the fresh air. Anyway, let's get back where I was at. Sorry about that, guys. So we take modern man, and now we're going to take him out of his environment, and we're going to put him and detain him in his dwelling, okay? Same as the hybrid. Now he's detained and contained, all right? The only difference is between the hybrid and modern man is this. you have the luxury to have food access to you. Either you can go to the grocery store and get your grub, or you could pick up your cell phone, right, and you can order it and it comes to your front door. So starvation is not a factor. Starvation is not a factor. Okay? Then what happens? Okay? Now, what happens after this is as days go by, weeks go by, and even months go by, what happens then? Modern man is going to get antsy. They're going to start getting a little nervous, confused, frustration, discomfort. Then what's going to happen? Then he's going to start slipping into what? Depression. Modern man cannot take depression very well, believe me. And why is that? With modern man, depression is a mental weakness. And that's exactly what it is. It's a mental weakness. Now, they don't have to use their physicality because they don't have to hunt for their own food. They don't have to forage for their own food. So now, they're not relying on their mentality. They're not relying on their physicality. Okay? And they're damn sure ain't relying on their individuality. There, you follow me? So, this is what happens. What's going to happen because of all the stress, depression is going to be compounded, and it's going to escalate, okay? And depression escalates in different ways. It depends on how intense the anxieties are, okay? A deep state of depression with these kind of anxieties could lead to anger. It could lead to spurts of chaos. And it could also lead to, when you go to a deep slump of depression, suicidal anxieties. And what do I mean by that? Well, you'll have some who think of suicide because, see, they have this mental weakness and they cannot handle the situation. It's a complete physical breakdown from head to toe. So what happens is when modern man slumps into a deep state of depression with these anxieties, he can't deal with all of them. So you have one type of group that they will talk about suicidal. They will make you think they're going to commit suicide. But this one particular group quite don't have the cojones to see it through, so to speak. So they won't follow through. They do not commit suicide. What they do experience is keeping themselves in a deep state of depression. Okay? Now you have the other group who can't handle that kind of deep depression. Now this is the one, he's not, or her's not going to talk about suicide. And they're really not, it's not like they're going to write a note or a letter to leave it for you. This is the type that just goes out and does it. End of story. Okay? Now, what are we getting out of all this? What do you think are we getting out of all this? When those three components are taken away from you, because I've told you, without those three components, you're taking your natural ability as a human being to function. You cannot function in a proper, balanced way. Once those qualities are not there, you also see the difference when the qualities are there. There's a big difference. So it's all about surviving. Okay? Now, even in modern times with modern man, we're still surviving, but in a different manner. So that's why I say that it's better to retain those three compounds and those three elements. If you have lost it, try to get it back. Most of the time when you lose it, you can't get it back. If you still possess it, don't ever lose it. So, that's going to be all on this segment. Now, the next segment I'll do, I'm going to take you in a whole different area. And remember this. Modern man, as well as early man, we have to have our freedom. Okay? We have to have our freedom. We have to do what we were built to do. That's just the way it is. That's the bottom line. So anyway, I hope everybody's still learning from this. And I'm going to go ahead and close this down because my cameraman, I think I'm going to have to go up there and get a crowbar or something. He's kind of glued to where he's at right now. Anyway, guys, hey, look, you guys take care, man. I hope you have learned something out of this. And, oh, by the way, before I cut you loose, too, I do want to let you know, I do know about psychology, because when I came back from the NAM, that's the first thing I did, is I went back to college. I went straight to college, and I studied psychology for a couple years. I studied criminal psychology, okay? So I do know something about that, what I'm talking about. Anyway, you guys go ahead and take care of yourself, man. Look at, don't let all this get you down, okay? Don't let it happen. Keep your mentality, keep your physicality, and damn sure be an individual. Hey guys, I gotta go. You guys take care. I'll see you again. Bye.